What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Woe with Science Entertainment, and I'm sorry for the sleepy face, but I've been up for a minute. I just finished editing the trailer for a film. Speaking of films, I am working on the film for Signs called Signs, and I will kind of put out more information on it real soon, y'all. But today we got another compatibility video, and you know that's what we want. That's what the people need. They need to know where their partner is, and honestly, I may not be able to help. But if you are what signs are we doing today? We are doing Cancer and Sagittarius. So if you're a Cancer or you're a Sagittarius or you're interested in the Cancer or Sagittarius, then this video might be for you. And today we're doing like sun to sun sign compatibilities. But if you want to do Venus to Venus, moon to moon, rising to rising, that's on you, player. But not all seriousness, this video is for you if you're a Sagittarius or a Cancer. And off gate, right? I want to say anything can work. Anything is possible, right? It really depends on the individuals. There are so many things in our chart that make us much more complex than what our sun sign is. And there are so many factors in our life in general that make this not as godly, but just to get you some information on so you can be prone or privy to what's going on. And honestly, the more you know about yourself, the better it is for you and the better it is for whoever you're dealing with. So as we proceed, Sagittarius, right, is a fire sign. And they are a mutable fire sign. Cancer is a water sign, and Cancer is a cardinal water sign. So water and fire are elements, right? The elements are earth, air, water, and fire. And they all kind of have general characteristics that kind of seem to be true. They're really true. They have some general characteristics that seem to be true. And then the modalities, right, are the fixed, mutable, and cardinal signs. A fixed sign is more of an individual who is fixated on their beliefs, ideas, opinions, values, and they're kind of more immovable or harder to move. Where a cardinal sign necessarily isn't as hard to move, but you just got to keep up with them because they're taking that first step. They're initiators. These people are on the go and don't really like to waste time and then think about it too much till after. Mutable signs, right? Mutable signs are pretty adaptable, pretty flexible people. These individuals can kind of like diversify their beliefs and opinions, and it is more easily for them to change things up when necessary, right? So just off those explanations alone, there is validity in all of them. And just kind of my take on life in general, not one thing is specifically better than anything else, right? Everything has a time and place in which is important and essential, and for the individual, it might always be, and some might never be, right? So there are a lot of things there that make an individual, and that can make something cohesive. So with all that being said, right, fire and water signs, most astrologists or people would tell you that they don't really get along. Because think about it, like water kind of puts out the fire. Fire doesn't really like do too well in water, you know. So it's like these can already be a little bit of a rocky situation. But depending on the person's chart, like if this person's moon sign, which the moon is kind of like our internal nature, it's like our emotional nature, and the rising sign is how you carry out your behavior or how you act kind of like in public. Or like your Venus sign is for a female is like how you attract a man, and for a man is kind of females you're attracted to. So, you know, depending on what that person is, let's say this fire sign has a lot of water in their chart, or this water sign has a lot of fire in their chart, then it's already a lot more compatible than it seems. But let's just say you don't even have all of that, right? You have somewhat two emotional creatures. Fire is less emotional, meaning like it won't be as much of a negative impact on their daily activities, but they do care deeply and are driven people, right? Where water signs generally like they're best in their emotions. They're very reflective people. You know, they think more with their hearts than their minds at times, and it kind of differs depending on the sign. And I think there's a different biological difference between men and women here too. Is more of a nurturing sign than a fire sign, where fire is kind of thinking more of itself, and what it can inflict, where the water is thinking about everything it absorbs and everything that it kind of takes in around it. So they're coming at it from two different perspectives, right? And then the Cancer being cardinal, Cancer signs, even though they are emotional, even though they are water signs, they don't really like to get played. That's the biggest thing as a Cancer, right? A Cancer will straight up tell you that it does not like to get hurt. And the thing about the Cancer is, the Cancer feels like a lot of times people are trying to hurt it when it's not. And that may be a problem. Because the interesting thing about a Sagittarius, because fire signs are very like straightforward people. In a Sagittarius, if not the most, is like top 2, top 3 direct signs in the zodiac. So they'll be very straightforward. So off gate, right, this is already a situation in which it can be very intense unless that Cancer isn't as sensitive possibly to information that it thinks is negative towards it, or if that Sagittarius is a little more calming or has a lot of earth in it where it's a little more chill. It doesn't necessarily have to project its opinion like it's the truth on it a lot, because that's what a Sagittarius might be privy to. They can be called preachy. These are people who kind of feel like their way is the right way, and although they will kind of take it and just go with it, like, they can also change their views very quickly on something, and the Cancer is like, nah, you playing with me. So there's a lot of factors here that can make this situation not the best. But like I said, there's also a lot of situations that can make it good, because sometimes what we need to complete us is what we have that's incomplete, essentially. So like, you bring in that emotional support, you bring in that nurturing value to the relationship, where I bring in like the go get it. So maybe the socialization, maybe like, maybe the directness, maybe together we're an awesome team, and so it really depends on a lot of factors within the individuals themselves. But Sagittarius, right, are people who, they are genuinely optimistic, right? Meaning like they kind of have people say like a kind of a lucky aspect to them, but they're inquirers, they're journeyers. So when you go out seeking, you find a lot, and that can be physical, that can be metaphysical, that can be spiritually, however you want to look at it. And these people are ruled by Jupiter, the power of vast knowledge, and so like, they kind of are spiritually inclined. And I mean, don't confuse that with religion. I'm just saying these people are kind of like tapped in and want to look at life from a much less materialistic viewpoint. These people are very meta. Even like the coolest of Sagittarius, they're probably going to have something unique and eclectic about them. They do like exclusivity. They are fire signs. They do like to have fun and have a good time, but it's a little more authentic. Sometimes it might be like, it might just seem like, they're, don't be surprised if they compare themselves to like God or something. Not to say that like we are, not to give any type of religious, consultations here. But what I'm saying is, a Sagittarius really sees themselves as like a wiser being, individual, and they carry out life in a search for a greater existence, a purpose. It's not about the destination for them; it's about the journey. So, and that's kind of how they're going to live out their life. And they're very direct and honest. Sometimes they feel like their truth is the ultimate truth. And, that's maybe a hard pill for the Cancer to swallow at times. Maybe you don't feel heard. You might feel like the Sagittarius isn't really like focused on you or doing the same thing that you're doing. But I want you to know you're never going to get that. Your Sagittarius is never going to do that for you. That's just not them. And they're probably going to tell you that and tell you why, because they're going to tell you everything, because they are direct people. At least they won't lie to you. But maybe don't take it so personal, because they don't mean it that way. Or maybe they do mean it that way, but that's just who they are. So you decide, I guess, because they're not going to stop. They're going to do them. And the thing is, they can really feel something. And I guarantee you, in one day, if they read something and it changes and they feel like this is now the truth, they will completely change that lifestyle and live that like they always did, which is a good thing. And it could be kind of exhausting at times. But Cancer, you need to calm down too, right? Because you know, like sometimes people aren't trying to hurt you. Everything isn't meant to be overly overly sensitive. You know, things aren't meant. People aren't meant to hurt you. Most people aren't. This person is, especially if a Sagittarius spend their time with you and their energy, like they not trying to hurt you. You know what I mean? You got some people out here who are just players, just playing games all over the world. But that's in general. That's any sign. You know what I mean? So like, really, you know, just understand that, you know, like this Sagittarius might just be being them, but like this freedom, this freeing mindset, it might help open doors for you. Maybe not limit some of your stuff, because sometimes you might try to protect yourself so much that you kind of closing yourself out. Usually Cancers are pretty good because they're gonna make a decision. You know, they're a cardinal sign, so they're gonna make a decision. Even though it is gonna be based off their emotion, probably it's gonna lead them in a direction that's just gonna get them success too, because they're going to keep going too. So the Cancer is probably going to be good. And even though they are emotional, they rarely allow themselves to get hurt because they're really overprotective for themselves. So sometimes y'all might end up even causing the pain. So don't be, water signs potentially have a potential to be like, you know, emotionally manipulative, and some more than others. Scorpios more than Cancers, but Cancers will just kind of like nip you, or like make an emotional decision real quick in an effort to protect yourself, but really might do more damage to everyone else involved, you know? And so, you know, like, if y'all really just communicate and talk to each other, understand each other, and like know off gate, right? Don't like just go off lust or something like that, because you two individuals, like, lust ain't gonna carry too long for y'all. Like, understand each other, right? And communicate with each other. And you know, Cancer, don't think people are meant to hurt you. And Sagittarius, like, you know, baby, calm down. Calm down. Like, it's okay. You know, or keep going on the journey. And Cancer, just go with them. Just be like, all right, well, you know, maybe you aren't trying to hurt me. Let me see what this life be like. You know, you might like it too. So, you know, just like everything in life, it's just about communication, and it's just about understanding, because none of this really matters. You know what I'm saying? All that matters is what's in here. You know, I think they say their heart is under your left chest breast, right? Anyway, but like, you know, like, yeah, like, you know, and you know, if y'all are Sagittarius or Cancer and you agree, you feel me, and there's a lot of other things too. But like I said, I can't go that in deep, because this is just like a general compatibility video. Because like our Venus signs, our moon signs, our Mercury signs, Mercury is how you communicate. It's how you process your thoughts and emotions. And like all of this are factors too. Not to say that it's going to be a determining factor in the result of your relationship, but I'm saying just as far as like who you are as an individual. So if you are Aries or a Libra, y'all, if you are a Cancer or a Sagittarius, you know, and you know, you agree with me, let me know. Let me know. But I appreciate y'all time. And I hope I said a little something. It's Woke Boswell with Signs Entertainment. Y'all have a blessed one. Peace.